Not often when I research something am I overwhelmed or just sit back and go, wow, that is fabulous. When it came to the Old Testament and how God raised up scholars and scribes and others to produce the Old Testament, I just sat in amazement. If you ever heard me speak on the New Testament, I talk about the abundance of the manuscripts. Now, a manuscript is a handwritten copy over against a printed copy. Of the manuscripts of the New Testament, I've been able to document in my book, The New Evidence That Demands a Verdict, 24,633 manuscripts. That is overwhelming. But when it comes to the Old Testament, there's hardly any manuscripts in comparison to the New Testament. You say what? Yes. There's a huge amount of manuscripts in the New Testament, hardly any manuscripts in comparison to the Old Testament. But wait a minute. I want to make a statement here. It's going to sound a little contradictory. But in the next few segments, I'll prove the point what I'm going to say. The abundance of manuscripts of the New Testament speaks and gives credibility to its accuracy. However, when it comes to the Old Testament, the lack of manuscripts, the lack of very few manuscripts gives credibility to its accuracy and reliability. You say, wait a minute, that's double talk. How can the abundance of manuscripts of the New Testament give it credibility and the lack of manuscripts in the Old Testament give it credibility? That's a unique idea in history when it comes to the Old Testament. In the next few segments, I'm going to prove that point, that the lack of manuscripts of the Old Testament in no way takes it away from its reliability or credibility, but the abundance of manuscripts of the New Testament adds to its credibility and reliability. That is not a paradox. That is reality.